This video was created by VinylicPuma of VinylicPumaGaming. What's going on, everybody? This is VinylicPuma, and today I want to talk about gaming journalism, #Gamergate, episode 657. I don't know why episode 657, but I want to mainly talk about this article called The Secret Mailing List of the Gaming Journalism Elite. And let's go ahead and get into it, shall we? Before we begin, however, Gamergate is basically a hashtag that's been going around on Twitter in response to a couple articles written by game journalists, which were basically, in my opinion, maybe other people's opinion too, whatever, they were basically slaughtering the character of the gamer, as you will, which is essentially kind of funny because gamers are basically the consumers for the articles that they write. So they were essentially insulting the people that read their articles. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into the story. According to Breitbart.com, high-profile editors, reporters, and reviewers from heavyweight gaming news sites such as Polygon, Ars Technica, and Kotaku use the private Google Groups mailing list, which is called Gaming Journalism Professionals, or GameJournoPros, to shape industry-wide attitudes to events, such as the revelation that developer Zoe Quinn had a sexual relationship with at least one prominent games journalist, a journalist who had mentioned her and her products in his reporting. Now, I want to go ahead and get this straight really quick. I don't care who had sex with who did what, who cheated on who, whatever. That is not the issue here. We're going to talk about what ultimately the side, the gaming journalism, the gaming media, gaming press, whatever you want to call them, what side they have ultimately decided to take on this entire issue based on how they, I guess, feel about it. So the rest of this video at this point is pretty much just going to be a collage, and I'm going to go ahead and commentate over it, and I guess just give my thoughts on, I guess, pictures of these emails that these gaming journalists allegedly sent. The thing is, I'm kind of skeptical as to whether these are real or not, but on the other hand, in another way, I wouldn't be surprised. So realize these may be real, these may not be real, but let's go ahead and talk about them anyway. So the first one that you're looking at here, and feel free to pause the video at any time to just kind of look over and read some of these. This first one is basically Kyle Orland, who is a senior editor at Ars Technica, a gaming journalism, I guess, gaming website, and they just talk about games and stuff. And if you could see here, there are a couple sections that are highlighted. Now, basically, this whole part here is basically about Zoe Quinn, how she wants this whole Zoe Quinn scandal, Quinspiracy, Gamergate, the list goes on. It's really a private matter for her, and they don't want to, basically, she doesn't want them to cover this and be revealing about her personal life, I guess. Of course, if you look here at some of the highlighted sections, there are a couple of these that are, here's one in particular. If you look towards the bottom, it says here, I would love to use my platform to reproach this kind of behavior. Now, what they are, what kind of behavior? Is this the people that are trolling, trying to dox Zoe Quinn, which I definitely agree. I think they need to deal with that behavior and get rid of it. However, they're not really talking about the people that are just merely being critical of this situation and how the game journalists are reporting this news. Instead of looking at, well, hey, well, why isn't gaming journalism reporting why these people are upset, what is going on, and what is going on here? They're simply saying, well, you know, we're just going to reproach this kind of behavior. There's another thing here that I also found interesting, and it says here, maybe we should get a public letter of support going around decrying these kinds of personal attacks, signed by as many sympathetic journalists, developers as we can. Maybe we should just use this as an excuse to give more attention to her work. I know I've been meaning to review Depression Quest since its Steam release. Moving on to our next slide here, we have an editor from Polygon by the name of Ben Kuchera, and he basically has here, someone signed up for an escapist account just to post that thread and try to spread alleged details of someone's sexual past in order to shame them. I'm not sure what your definition of harassment is, but that fits mine. And then, of course, just under that, Ben Kuchera also says, this is the question. People are using your platform to harass a developer. Are you comfortable with that? What I find funny about this particular line, people are using your platform to harass a developer. Are you comfortable with that? That almost is like a Mass Effect 2 Renegade option where you move your controller down to the lower left corner of the screen and select people are using your platform to harass a developer. I don't know. I just find that hilarious. Let's go on to the next slide. This next slide is basically from a senior writer at Kotaku, Jason Schreier, who can be seen defending Nathan Grayson, who, if you guys don't know, Nathan Grayson supposedly wrote about Zoe Quinn's game Depression Quest, and this got people questioning journalists. And of course, this is what he has to say here. This is not true. Then, quote, edit, oh, and then there's the fact that the blog post by Nathan Grayson has been apparently taken down. They're seriously trying to hide it from my point of view. And then, of course, it says below that, this is, I guess, Jason's words, this is also not true. Nathan has never reviewed or written about Depression Quest for Kotaku. Now, I'm sure someone here on the internet can scrounge up that old article that Nathan Grayson wrote. So, I mean, if Nathan Grayson didn't write anything about this, people wouldn't be talking about this particular subject. So, I mean, you know, Jason Schreier, you got to do better than that. Now, the final email here is from James Fudge, who is the managing editor at gamespolitics.com. He says here, as you can see, but look at how this thread starts out. It's hard not to call this harassment, but the bad part is that because the thread is alive now and was allowed to flourish, quote, doing anything about it plays into his narrative. And then they have quotes here. And yet all video game outlets from Giant Bomb to Kotaku to Destructoid to The Escapist to Reddit, all the way through to 4chan's /v/, which is anonymous, do their continual best efforts to simply not bring this up, both in official outlets and in the case of GB and Anonymous by deleting threads about it, or in the case of Reddit, downvoting it and making the links not work. Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and get back into the gameplay footage here, and I'm just going to go ahead and just give my thoughts on this whole thing. You know, I don't really know if these emails are real, but at the same time, I wouldn't put it past someone to do this. Additionally, there was a petition or thing that a bunch of journalists and game developers were signing. It was basically about end harassment and all this stuff. And of course, it had been really in response to this whole criticism of the whole Zoe Quinn scandal. And really, I would even go even further. It's really kind of a criticism of the journalists that were trying to slaughter the character of the gamer identity. And really, I think that, you know, whether these things are real or not, whether Breitbart is kind of pulling our leg here, I mean, this is really scary. Like, the fact that people are actively pushing an agenda in the journalism circle to essentially promote certain games. Now, I mean, there are gatekeepers in all walks of life. But I mean, the thing is, for them to do this and to basically then come out and say gamers are dead, and then we have all of this evidence about this plan to like enforce their position is sort of, it's really kind of messed up. And the fact that they're using YouTube DMCA takedowns to get people's videos taken down, particularly Mundane Matt, which started this whole thing. And then there's like Reddit, they're basically deleting posts. In fact, there was a Total Biscuit response that had almost like thousands upon thousands of deleted posts of people talking about this issue. And really, it's just sad. And I think what's ultimately going to happen in this entire thing is that Kotaku and other websites are going to have competitors. And they're going to lose out to their competitors because their competitors are being transparent with their consumers, and they're giving their consumers the whole story as opposed to just one ideology that supports them. But anyway, guys, that's my thoughts. Anyway, guys, this was a pretty long video today. If you did like this video, please be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Really helps me out. And really, let me know what you think in the comments about all this. I think Gamergate, the whole thing, in a way, I'm kind of ready to see it go, but it just seems like more information is just unraveling and unraveling, and people are going to continue to talk about it. So, well, I guess I'll talk about it. But anyway, guys, take care. Have a good one.